Hello everyone, good morning. We are from Cruise Tourism Group and our topic is about cruise tourism and its effect to local tourism. And my name is Andrew.
I'm DJ.
I'm Gagun.
I'm Ishumi.
I'm Shui.
I'm Kaudi.
My name is Chio.
So I'm going to talk about what are we going to present today. So the first thing we are going to present is about why we picked this topic, and then we are going to talk about our goals and what hypothesis that we think that from what we can get from this research, and then our literature review, research methods, research questions, and steps taken to collect our data.
So first, why we choose this topic? And basically, we decided to choose this topic because when we pass by Beipu Port, we sometimes see a cruise ship, and we want to know what the purpose of it, and why they come here, and how frequently they come here. And also we believe that Beipu has many resources for tourism. And yeah, also cruise tourism is related to a lot of kind of other tourism. So it's very interesting to research about this topic. And here are the hypotheses. And since we want to learn about the economical impact and social impact to the local community, we decided to choose this hypothesis. And we believe that if we understand cruise ship more, then we can encourage more people to participate in this cruise tourism.
So next, I will present about our goals. So the very first thing is we want to search about the basic and the advanced knowledge about cruise tourism in Beipu. So by providing and analyze on the information and on the theme which are related to cruise tourism in Beipu, we will finally show how important of cruise tourism in Beipu City to you. Next is literature review.
Okay. For the literature review, we decided to do a literature review because the information that we found from these books are based on our base idea for our topic, so we decided to do literature review.
So I'm going to introduce which some of the books that we use for our research. The first book is called Slow Japan and Fast Japan. The author in this book, the author point out recently how slow tourism has been introduced in Japan, and how slow tourism would bring not only the appearance of the destination, but also to live in harmony with the locality. And the second book is about what is cruise tourism and why people cruise. According to the author, people cruise for so many reasons, like cruising for family, cruising for romantic, cruising for learning experience, and so on. And the third book is about the numbers of visitors have still been increasing in Beipu. Even though Beipu is witnessing an decrease in foreign visitors due to the global economic downturn in Japan, according to the survey from this board, Beipu Onsen is the most attraction to the visitors to come and visit to Beipu.
Yeah, I will introduce two books. These are Cruising, a Guide to the Cruise Line Industry, and the other one is Complete Guide to Cruising and Cruise Ships. The first book, we found that why people in Japan travel around by cruise, and we found that cruisers prefer cruise tourism because there are lots of choices on a cruise. For example, there are pool and then also a casino, and also they enjoy landscape also. And cruise tourism is very easy to go around, so people travel around by cruise because of these reasons. And for the other books, we found that cruise tourism is really related to a rural area because people want to stay away from the like reality, from the stress from the work or traffic or like noise. So everybody wants to stay in a rural area to have a relax. So cruise tourism is really related with the rural area. We found this information from these books. Next is a research method.
Okay, so regarding the research method, as the scholars, we went to the Shiaksho, the city office, and basically the Beppu port is located in the inner part of Beppu Bay, which is situated in the coast of Kyushu and the western part of the Seto Inland Sea. So sorry for putting a lot of words in the slide because we wanted to give you the basic information why we chose Beppu port. And then most of the because Beppu city is famous for the onsen, and it gives the greatest volume of spring output in Japan. And in addition, the Beppu port is equipped with the road systems such as the Oita Expressway that connect with other prefectures of Kyushu and the Usa and Beppu Road. So also the port is also tourism gateway for Kyushu. In March 2011, the wharf of 140,000 ton class passengers ships was opened in the Ishigaki district, thus allowing more cruise ships from Japan abroad to stop over. Mainly we know the Beppu port is famous for Sunflower Ferry, which comes from Osaka, and hope some of you have traveled by, through Sunflower Ferry. So regarding the major questions we asked from city office, these are the 7 questions we tried to ask. The annual amount of passengers who visited Beppu via cruise, and major reasons why they visit Beppu, and most famous places they like to visit in Beppu. Are there enough accommodation facilities to provide? Main nationalities who recently visited. Pros and cons of cruise tourism with local community, and impact of local community with tourism in Beppu. So that goes to the answers. These are the facts we got from Beppu Shiaksho. 2012, within past 3 years. These are the, they said it's very unstable, but 2013 was few, but comparing with other years. So for the second question, the major reason why they visit Beppu is they have international port, and it consists with many tourist destinations such as onsen, and it's easy to have shopping. And third question was most famous places they like to visit. It's usual the Jikoku Meguri, the hell tour. And fourth was are there enough accommodation? Of course, because they already have rooms in the ship, so they don't need to worry about the hotel accommodation or ryokan or nothing. The main nationalities who recently visited was Chinese. Actually, we thought it was Korean, but it was Chinese. And they need only income pro later. And pros and cons was duty-free shops are packed, because they said nowadays there are a lot of duty-free shops are opening in Beppu, and most of the tourists who visit here, the tourist guides and everybody, they focus onto the duty-free shops. that sense, the other local business people, they won't get any business because they have no time. They come for limited time to do shopping, and they're only going to the duty-free shops. So the other people, they are kind of not suffering, but that is the biggest problem they are occurring nowadays. And they have many sales, hotel, touristic places. More, they need more tourists, and they have more nationalities and variety of tourists. And the last question was impact of local community with tourism in Beppu. Actually, they welcome everybody to visit Beppu and discover and enjoy. So if they are not enjoying, they said they feel bad, and they want everybody to have good time in Beppu. And they provided information centers and its safety, no rip-off, and sincere heart, love, and in all sense of words, they have the hospitality in Beppu community. That's what they trust. And yeah, these are the facts and the figures we got from Beppu City Office. Next is research questions.
So our primary research method is scholarship, but we will also do our interview. And our research question is, how does cruise tourism affect the local tourism? So basically, we are going to interview some key persons and the professors from the tourism and hospitality. And these are the questions that we are going to ask. So the first three is, what places do you recommend to tourists? What tourists expect in Beppu, and what are the selling point of Beppu? Like, these three are the questions that can express the selling point of the sale points of Beppu, of why tourists came to Beppu, and what are Beppu's charming points. And through that, we can ask, like, do they go to APU for sightseeing? What is the role of onsen on cruise tourism in Beppu? And if onsen have a role in the cruise tourism, what kind of onsen do you usually recommend them?
Okay, now I'll talk about the steps taken to collecting data. First, as we all know, we were advised by the professor to bring a book about our own research topic. So that's how we got to know about cruise tourism. And then the second one of the most favorites, internet. Like, one example link is Beppu tourist information. From that, these are some of the examples I chose. Beppu Beach Sand Bath, Mount Takasaki Wild Monkey Park, around the Beppu Eki area, health tour, and then as my fellow mates described, literature review, and then interviewing and gathering data from the Beppu City Office, and then again interviewing Beppu port people, and lastly, but not most importantly, interviewing our professors. Except Professor Cooper, who was very busy at that time, we were able to interview the other three professors. And our research is still in progress, and that concludes our presentation. Any questions or comments are most welcome. Thank you.
Nobody? Too early in the morning or something? Well, I can make some comments if you like. Since they haven't interviewed me, they might as well do it right now. I actually worked on a cruise ship 2 years ago as one of the entertainment. I didn't have to do anything but talk, of course. I think you need to, first of all, you need to understand what cruise tourism actually is. And it isn't slow tourism, it's simply an alternative way of moving from one place to the other carrying your accommodation with you. Made that point. So the people that are on the cruises are simply those people who want to use that particular form of movement between places. So they book their tour on a cruise ship because it goes to particular parts of the world. Okay, the main parts in the past have been the Caribbean. They're now Southeast Asia, basically Indonesia and so on, as well as round the world ones, where people join a round the world cruise for particular parts of that. So you wouldn't go all the way around the world. You might simply choose Australia and New Zealand or Indonesia or whatever. They're there because they're rich. They're there because they like food. They like attention. They like constant attention. And they also have, as you said, some idea they might get some information, which is why they're entertained all the time. The sort of entertainment I was doing was talking about particular topics, like volcanoes, for example. Because this particular tour, part of the round the world tour was Indonesia and the Ring of Fire. So I was hired, given a free cabin on the boat. You want to try this sometime later on? Free cabin on the boat in return for 4 lectures over a 10-day period. Not too bad, eh? Okay, coming back to Beppu. Beppu's the nature of the cruise people is that they are interested in particular experiences, but that does not mean onsen. What that means is jikoku. Okay, so our problem here in talking to these people as a resource for tourism is simply that they don't need or want to do our particular mass form of tourism, that's the onsen. They don't have time, basically, either, which is another facet of cruise tourism. You might think it's slow tourism, but it isn't. It's place by place by place. And they very quickly move on to another one. They might be here only for half a day. Or if it's a bigger city, they might be there here overnight. Nights back on the boat, but there's a lot more to do in a big city like Fukuoka or Tokyo or whatever. So Beppu is here only simply as an interesting place where you can see Jigoku, and you can mix up your trip from sailing from Tokyo or Yokohama through Nagoya to Beppu and then around to Fukuoka and then off to Korea or wherever it is going, this particular boat. They're stopping here because it's a way of breaking up that sailing bit. Now we have created a 140,000 ton port, which makes for big ships. So the biggest cruise ships are now over the 200,000 mark. So we won't get those, but we will get most of them. They will bring, this brings me to another point, they will bring anything up to 6,000 people. In other words, the size of a beer, one hit to this city. Now you'd think that would be great, but look at the port. And one of the comments you need to make in your report is look at the port. They've created a hole for a 140,000 ton ship in the sea, but what else have they done? Absolutely nothing. And unless they find a way of getting those 6,000 people on and off the boat quickly and into the city, they will find that cruise ships will not come here because it takes too long to process the people, right? So we don't have the resources for the big ships, even though we've created the hole in the sea floor to allow them to get in here. So we want to think about that too. The City Council has not been able to or not done the infrastructure development that it needs to process larger cruise ships, and cruise ships every year get larger. Okay, so here's a few comments for you. I've actually done it. My boat was only about 90,000 tonnes, so it wasn't very big. Right? And it carried 4,000 people in absolute luxury. So they're floating around in palaces. Basically, that's how you should see it. For most of them. Some people more than others, because they have bigger or smaller cabins on board. But anyway, thank you for the presentation. You need to relate it a bit more to the situation in Bedford, I think. Whether it's able to cope with cruise tourism, or whether it really wants cruise tourism, other than the boats coming into the place. They're not going to distribute those 6,000 people very easily, the way they're structured at the moment. Thank you.